Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video I am going to be reading my personal statement, and like I said in my previous video, the essence of me reading my personal statement is simply to give you a guide on how to write your own personal statement. And I'll highly recommend that you watch my previous video, as I took time to explain each point in the personal statement, and it will also give you a better insight on how to begin or structure your own personal statement. Because in this video I am strictly and mainly reading my personal statement. Please note that everything I have written here is about me, and therefore I would not recommend you pick what I have written in my personal statement to put in your personal statement. However, I am reading it again, I would say, simply to give guidance on how to write. For myself as well, I found a GKS scholar who read his own personal statement, and that was how I was able to build and find a perfect idea on how to structure and write my personal statement. So the essence of me reading my personal statement is not to give people the liberty to copy and paste or modify and use, but to give guidance and help them strategize their personal statements. So let's begin. The first point in GK's personal statement structure, what they usually ask for is, what is the motivation with which you are applying to this program. I am basically going to read my personal statement. I am not going to explain. However, if you want to understand each point, then I would recommend you watch my previous video one more time. Please watch that video and then watch this one to better understand how to write and structure your personal statement and all. So, what is the motivation with which you apply for this program? And I have written my motivation to be this. As a career-driven individual, I have always been ambitious about obtaining a master's degree right after my undergraduate studies. Hence, after completing my undergraduate program, I took up jobs and completed online courses to acquire knowledge and new skills. During this time also, I developed an interest in Korean language and culture. Thus, I began learning the Korean language and about the vibrant culture of Koreans. Consequently, having found the opportunity to learn and improve my knowledge of Korean in Korea while receiving quality education in a fast-growing and technologically advanced nation, I feel more motivated and desirous to apply to this program. With the Global Career Scholarship (GKS), not only will I be able to attend the prestigious university where education and career development is of priority to the school, but I will also have the opportunity to improve and advance my understanding of native Korean. Secondly, I am motivated to apply to this program because I seek an opportunity that other scholarship programs may not offer me. I believe that the GKS program will have an inordinate impact on my individuality and career goals. Also, considering that GKS will admit students from over 140 nations of the world, I will be exposed to diverse cultural experiences while living and studying in Korea, which I eagerly look forward to. Moreover, under this program, I will be able to receive best practices of my desired course, participate in diverse cultural programs, and partake in both local and international internship opportunities at the university where I will undergo my master's degree. To also mention that I feel motivated to pursue my chosen career course under this program, where academic excellence is pertinent and where the universities are designed to model students towards solid career paths. I believe I will graduate competent enough for the benefit of both South Korea and Nigeria. So, this point has asked what is the motivation with which you apply to this program, and I have stated clearly that my motivation, one, is because I desire to further my studies, and two, because of my interest in Korean, I looked for an opportunity where I can improve my Korean knowledge while receiving quality education. Those are the primary reasons why I chose to apply to this program. The second point they want to see in your application is educational background. For my educational background, I have said Ensuring I received quality education was always a priority of my parents. Hence, academically, I have received sound education from amongst the best in my hometown, and my performances were outstanding. While in high school, I maintained a good reputation and was well commended by both the proprietors and staff. I have also I was also privileged to hold the position of a social prefect and always contribute towards the school's orderliness. Graduating with excellent grades, I was able to gain immediate admission into the university to further my academic pursuits. To me, my most qualified education for a master's degree was built on perseverance, hard work, and dedication. Having made plans for future studies, I chose to prioritize my undergraduates the most, of which I often took the responsibility of being the group leader in speech practicum classes, assignments, and projects. I was also able to satisfactorily complete my mandatory internship programs and spent time researching for my thesis. In my final year, I took the sole responsibility of researching, collecting, and analyzing all the data needed for my thesis. Aside from academic pursuits, I enjoyed participating in extracurricular activities. While in the university, I held the position of financial secretary at the Block Rosary Society for two tenures and the financial secretary of the Nigerian Federation of Catholic Students (NFCS) graduation committee in my final year. Besides dedicating time to these societies, I also participated in other activities such as NFCS pageantry, departmental debates, volunteering as an on-air personnel at my school's broadcast station, spending time on research works, and working as a research assistant to my lecturer. However, with the determination to achieve academic excellence and enroll in a master's degree program, I was able to maintain excellent grades and graduate with a CGPA of 3.50. So for the educational background, if you paid close attention, you'll notice that I have spoken about things from my high school down to my most recent qualification, which is an undergraduate program. So you can talk about these things, and I've stated in my previous video that you don't have to say, oh, I did not hold any leadership position, I was not the prefect, I was not the blah blah blah. You can always say things like, oh, I was an active member in this society, so I was able to contribute and this and that. And yes, the next point they usually ask is, what are some significant experiences you have had? For me, I have written that my interest in Korean and Korean culture has exposed me to diverse opportunities that have had significant impact on me. As a Korean enthusiast and promoter of Korean culture and language, I enjoy active participation in Korean activities, which have helped me develop my knowledge of the language and culture. Last year, I participated in King Sejong's writing and speech contest held in my country, and I came third place in the writing contest. Even though I won no award for the speech contest, I was delighted to have presented a speech in Korean about the city I hope to visit in South Korea before native speakers and other contestants. This experience gave me confidence in my knowledge of Korean and eagerness to advance my knowledge of the language. For me, being knowledgeable in Korean has brought forth great opportunities and experiences too. Through my knowledge of Korean, I have worked as a translator and sales representative for the multinational Korean brand Mixon at the 2023 Beauty West African exhibition held in Nigeria, where I also met the director of the Korean Trade Investment Promotion Agency, Kotra Nigeria. Also completing my 1 year mandatory National Youth Corps NYC program in the eastern part of Nigeria was an eye-opening experience for me. Through the course of my service year, I was able to adapt to the new environment, the people, culture, and the language spoken by the locals. This way, I was able to fit in and enjoy my time in the East. It was a significant experience for me because I was able to learn how to adapt to new changes regardless of my own identity and culture. So, when you're trying to figure out a significant experience which you've had, it could be on anything. For me, even though I wrote about Korean knowledge, even though I wrote about like my knowledge of Korean bringing significant experiences to me, I still wanted to talk about something that was dynamic, something that was not Korean, but um was significant for me or in my life. So that's why I wrote about my NYC year, and it sat well in my personal statement. The next point they usually ask is person or events that have had significant influence on you. For this point, I have written, growing up in my hometown, I have experienced rural dwellers often displaced from their farms and homes due to insecurities and crisis. This state of unrest was never pleasing and also affected people relatively close to me. Hence, whenever I had the opportunity, I volunteered at the internally displaced persons IDP camp and other humanitarian missions. While living in my hometown, I was able to spend time volunteering for an NGO at the IDP camps to provide aid to the people. I have also volunteered at other events such as Ahava Women Conference, which was organized to educate women about self-development. My dedication to humanitarian service is not limited to working as a volunteer, but I have also completed a course in international volunteering and global citizenship. Although my first time volunteering was at the excuse me, was at the IDP camp, it influenced my decision to help people in need regardless of where I find myself. In 2023, I volunteered for the Haluke community in Nigeria at an orphanage outreach program to celebrate Children's Day, where we taught the kids basic Korean rhymes and showcased the beauty of South Korea through magazines. So for this point, you could talk about anything. It could be a person, it could be an event. So far as it had an influence on you, a significant influence on you, then it is okay. So um if you noticed, even though I talk about things that are not related to Korean, right, I still try to infuse something I did related to Korean. So it means even though you do not have experience or significant events that are Korean related, you could talk about anything. It must not be Korean because it's a GKS program. No, you can always talk about anything so far as it's significant, so far as it makes sense, so far as it hits the points which they've asked you to write about, then it is relevant. In the next point, they've said, if applicable, describe awards you have received, publications you have made, or skills you have acquired. So it could be awards, it could be publications, it could be skills, whichever one. For me, I have written, as one who enjoys learning and volunteering and participating in extracurricular activities, as one who enjoys learning, volunteering, and participating in extracurricular activities, I have gained certifications, awards, and a good wealth of knowledge through online courses and physical participation in events. I have completed short courses on how to build your personal brand from Nestle and completed an executive diploma in international diplomacy and protocol from La Plague Metaverse. I have also been awarded a certificate in international volunteering, amongst others. Upon successful completion of my National Youth Service Program, I was also awarded a certificate of completion. In addition to these, to evaluate my proficiency in Korean, I have taken the King Sejong's assessment test, for which I obtained a level placement of 3A and also scored 173 on my topic 1 test. I have also undergone a 5 week course in Korean class, K-pop class, and cultural exchange class, for which I also received an award. So for me, I chose to talk about awards because I have more of these to talk about than skills, and I do not even have any publication at all. So you could choose to talk about either or three, just one or two or something. I don't know. You can just decide on what to talk about, but it should be within the context of what they've asked you to talk about. And lastly, others or extracurricular activities. And for me, I wrote, for extracurricular activities, I enjoy participating in clubs and societies. In high school, I was in the Press Club, Dramatic Club, and the Young Catholic Students YCS Society, where I actively participated in activities as a member. I didn't have any role, so as a member of the respective clubs and society. Whereas in the university, I was an active member of the Block Rosary Society, and held the position of the Financial Secretary for 2 tenures, um, and occupied the position of the Financial Secretary for the Nigerian Federation of Catholic Students. And then, beyond dedicating time to these societies, I participated in other activities such as NFCS pageantry, volunteering as an on-air personnel at my school's broadcast station, and working as a research assistant to my lecturer. At the end of my study year, given the knowledge I acquired, the internship experiences I had, my engagement in extracurricular activities, and my ability to independently carry out my research work, I can confidently state that I have amassed a certain degree of interpersonal communication skills, networking, leadership, data collecting, and analyzing skills, all of which I believe will be resourceful during my GKS program in South Korea. And that is how I ended my personal statement. So to sum it all up, for every point you have to write within the context of what they've asked you for. Um, I would recommend if you have, for example, let's go back to the first of, for example, where they say, "What is your motivation?" With which you apply to this program. You could have like multiple things. It could be K-pop. It could be the economy of South Korea. It could be South Korean cuisine. Just list all these things out. Then select the one which you feel is more prominent, more valid or more solid for you to write in your personal statement. Something unique, not something that everybody's putting in their personal statement. A personal statement is about you and definitely your experiences and your knowledge is not the same as every other person who is applying. So you should be able to show that uniqueness in your application. You should be able to show what sets you apart from other applicants, like what you've done differently. Your motivation should not be the cliche motivation everybody has. It should definitely be something reasonable, but something that defines you. Your educational background can't be the same as others. For educational background, I've stated and I will emphasize, even though you do not have any major role or you did not have any major role, you can still talk about it. If you are in a society, state the fact that you are an active participant in that society because they are looking out for people who will yield results at the end of the day if given the scholarship. So don't just say, "I was in this club." Use strong adjectives to define things you did. I was hardworking. I was a hardworking student. I showed competence whenever I was given. Like use adjectives. Try to put in as much adjectives that define your sentence or defines you as a person in your personal statement. And then significant experiences you've had. I've talked about this in my previous video. Persons or events. I've talked about all of this in my previous video. This video was mainly to read my personal statement, which I have done. So um if you want to know how to structure your personal statement or how to develop ideas or anything, then I would recommend that you should please watch my previous video. And don't forget, if you have any question concerning your personal statement or anything, you can still comment on this video. And if you found this resourceful, please remember to like and also share to other persons whom you think will need this information as much as you do. And I hope to see you in my next video. Have a lovely day. I don't know who makes a video around 12:28 a.m., but I have done it and thank you all for watching. Bye.